Now, WordPress has tens of thousands of plugins, and when you install something, you don't know what effect it may have on your website. So anything that allows us to check out what the deficiencies of any plugin are before we actually install it, it's going to be a good thing. Now, before we go any further, I want to say a thank you to David McCann from WebTNG in his recent video, which put me onto this website, and I kind of think it's really useful. So thank you, David, for bringing that to my attention. All credit to you for this. Link to David's website is in the description down below. Check it out. Tons of great reviews, content, tutorials, all manner of great things on there. Okay, so what exactly am I talking about? Well, we're talking about WP Hive. Now, there's a nice little service on here called Get Started. If we click on that, that will allow us to go in and type in the name of a plugin that we want to check out, and providing it's in the repository of WordPress, which currently is over 60,000 plugins in there, we should be able to find out any kind of problems, any issues, any kind of impact it'll have on our website. So let's try something out. We all know that I do a lot of dynamic content on the channel, so let's try advanced custom fields and see what problems that may have. So what you need to do is type in the plugin that you want to search for, and it will show any results or results close to what you're looking for. We know it's advanced custom fields, so let's select it and choose search, and then that's going to go and test everything for us, and inside that test we can find out any deficiencies and any impact it may have. So the first thing it does is it come back, tell us what version we're currently checking, and as you can see 6.21 is the current version. That's what's being checked, but if you want to check an older version you could do. Then we've got a basic overview of the overall rating and the WordPress rating for this particular plugin. But what we're more interested in are the tests. Now, underneath you can see these don't pass all of the key tests that WP Hive is running against. So things, example, like the memory usage, the page speed, any PHP errors, and so on. If you want to find out more, hover over and it'll tell you what it refers to. So we can see with Advanced Custom Fields, or ACF, we've got impact upon memory usage and impact upon page speed. These are higher than what it prefers to have when you have this plugin installed. Now, if you want to see what kind of statistics the server these are being tested on is actually running, take a look on the right-hand side, and you can see this is running on VPS with 8 CPU cores and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Probably more than most of us are using for a typical shared hosting account, but at least this gives you a starting point to see what impact it may have. Okay, so we can see this has an impact upon memory usage and also on page speed. So if we scroll a little further, we can find some more information out about it. So this tells us the average memory usage when you have the plugin installed, and as you can see it's just under 1 megabyte, which is more than 84% of the plugins that have been tested by WP Hive. It also tells you the page speed impact this potentially has by being installed, which is just under a half a second. And also, again, you can see this tells us this is slower than 88% of the other tested plugins. If you want a speed test benchmark, underneath you can see the differences before and after the plugin was installed and activated, so you can get a good understanding of what impact this potentially would have on your website. And again, we've also got the memory usage benchmark, again before and after tests. And you can see what average changes on relevant different parts of your site, and you can expand these out to get even more. So different impacts to the index for your admin, for the media section of your admin, and so on, but also for the front end side of things. And then underneath we've got some stats for the plugin versions and so on. And finally, you can see what it's doing to your database and your options and so on. So no additional database tables are added, but there is one additional option added to your options file, which in this example is the ACF version. And again, if we roll down a little further, we can see those errors that popped up, telling us a kind of overview again of the page speed optimization and the memory usage. So we can take a look at this and we can find out what differences this could make to our site. Let's again try something different. Let's hop on to Get Started, and let's try something like WordFence. If you want to run some kind of security on there, we can let it run, and you can see we've got WordFence security, login security, assistant, and so on. We'll check the security plugin and take a look. Again, our version. We scroll through, you can see we do have, again, some issues, which is the impact of memory usage. So this is a little higher than it likes. But we've got more options here. We can come in to compare this with another plugin. So we might say WordFence versus iTheme security, for example. We'll choose it, click on compare, and now we can run a comparison between these two plugins to see which has the better option for us with our particular website. So now we can do a comparison between the two of these, the impact it's going to make when it comes to memory usage and so on. So as we can see, WordFence is a little better when it comes to being slightly more optimized when it compares to iTheme security in this example. So it's useful to be able to kind of create these comparisons to find out which is the better option for us in any given circumstance. So hopping back to the final tab, we've got the changelog. Now the changelog allows us to see exactly what changes have been made to this plugin throughout its entire lifespan. And these roll right the way back to, well, in this example, lots of pages, right the way back to the beginning of the plugin version 1.0, so you can check it out at any given point in its lifespan. So this is pretty useful, but like I say, the tests and the comparison is where I think the most important features come in when you're using WP Hive. So once again, let me say a quick thank you to David McCann for just showing this in his last video. I think this is really useful, and I think more of us need to know about it. It lets us compare, test, and evaluate before we install, and I think that's a good thing. As always, all applicable links are in the description down below. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.